ServSafe, Module V, Exam Questions. Use containers intended for food. Use containers that are durable, leak-proof, and able to be sealed or covered. Never use empty food containers to store chemicals. Never put food in empty chemical containers. To prevent cross-contamination, what is our 3 proper way to use containers? 1. Make specific staff responsible for receiving. 2. Provide staff with the tools they need, including purchase orders, thermometers, and scales. 3. Have enough trained staff available to receive and inspect food items promptly. 3 steps to take to make sure that receiving and inspection process is smooth and safe. 1. Reject. 2. Reject. 3. Reject. 4. Accept. 5. Reject. 6. Accept. 7. Accept. 8. Accept. Apply your knowledge. Which foods should you accept or reject? 1. Dirty packaging. 2. Fresh fish internal temp of 50 F. 3. Torn packaging. 4. Air temp of 45 F for eggs. 5. Repackaged cans of food. 6. A clean, intact box. 7. Milk at 45 F. 8. Cooked rice at 140 F. B. It is cooled to 41 F or lower in 4 hours. Milk can be received at 45 F under what condition? A. It is thrown out after 2 days. B. It is cooled to 41 F or lower in 4 hours. C. It is immediately cooked to 41 F or lower. D. It is served or used in the operation within 2 hours. 1. From an approved source. 2. Placed in the correct storage location to maintain the required temperature. 3. Protected from contamination in storage. 4. Has not been contaminated. 5. Honestly presented. Key drop deliveries must be inspected when you arrive at the operation and must meet the following 5 conditions. 1. Visual inspection of the delivery truck. 2. Visual inspection of food items. 3. Food at correct temperature. 4. Store food as quickly as possible in correct areas. For steps for process of receiving and inspecting a delivery. 1. Locker rooms or dressing rooms. 2. Restrooms or garbage rooms. 3. Mechanical rooms. 4. Under unshielded sewer lines or leaking water lines. 5. Under stairwells. 5 places where can food never be stored. 1. Must be labeled if not an original container. 2. Label needs to include common name of the food to clearly and accurately identify it. 3. Not necessary to label food if it will not be mistaken for another item, easy to identify. 3 things needed when labeling food for use on site. 1. Appearance. 2. Texture. 3. Odor. Reject food if it has any problems with what 3 things? Key drop delivery. Food service operators receive food after hours when they are closed for business. Supplier is given a key to make delivery. Products are then placed in coolers, freezers, and dry storage areas. Insert the thermometer of the stem into the thickest part of the product. When checking temperatures of meat, poultry, and fish. U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, Food and Drug Administration, FDA, or third-party inspector. Inspection reports can come from 3 different sources. Throw it out. If food is not at the correct temperature in the cooler, what should be done with it? See July 25. When must you discard tuna salad that is prepped on July 19? A. July 21. B. July 23. C. July 25. D. July 27. Restricts the circulation of cold air in the unit. Why should shelves not be lined with aluminum foil, sheet pans, or paper? D. Date that the food should be discarded. Whole potatoes were coated with olive oil and salt, baked in-house, and stored in a cooler for several days. What must be included on the label for the baked potatoes? A. List of all ingredients. B. List of common allergens. C. Date that the food was received. D. Date that the food should be discarded. B. 41 F or lower. What is the correct temperature for receiving cold TCS food? A. 32 F or lower. B. 41 F or lower. C. 45 F or lower. D. 50 F or lower. Clean and dry. Clean floors, walls, and shelving on regular basis. Clean up spills promptly. Clean dollies, carts, transporters, and trays often. Store food in containers that have been cleaned and sanitized. Store dirty linens away from food in clean non-absorbent containers or washable laundry bags. To prevent cross-contamination, how clean should storage areas be kept? 1. Store TCS food at internal temp of 41°F, or lower, or 135°F, or higher. 2. Store frozen food at temps that keep it frozen. 3. Storage units have at least one air temperature measuring device that is accurate, having coldest part of hot holding unit or hottest part of cold holding unit. 4. Do not overload coolers or freezers, prevents good airflow. 5. Use open shelving. 6. Monitor food temps regularly, at random to ensure cooler is working. Pathogens can grow when food is not stored at the correct temperature. Follow these 6 guidelines to keep food safe. Time temperature abused, therefore unsafe to eat. Poor food quality can be a sign that the food has been what? Should be marked with its use-by date. If commercially processed food has a use-by date that is less than 7 days from the date the container was opened, what date should the container be marked for discard? Odor. Reject food with an abnormal or unpleasant ________________, prepared or opened. The count begins on the day the food was 1. Contamination is confirmed or suspected. 2. Food is mislabeled or misbranded. 3. Allergens not identified on the label. 3 possibilities for food being recalled by manufacturers. 1. Is missing a date mark. 2. Ready-to-eat food that has exceeded its date mark. 3. Food that has exceeded time temperature requirements. If you find expired, damaged, spoiled, or incorrectly stored food that has become unsafe, you should discard it. This includes food that has d. It has been inspected and complies with local, state, and federal laws. What is the most important factor in choosing a food supplier? A. It is recommended by others in the industry. B. It has a HACCP program or other food safety system. C. It has documented manufacturing and packing practices. D. It has been inspected and complies with local, state, and federal laws. 1. In original container. 2. Do not remove the shell stock tag from the container until the last shellfish has been used. 3. When the last shellfish is removed, write the date on the shell stock tag. Then keep tag on file for 90 days from that date. What is the 3-step procedure for properly storing shellfish? Enough time to do inspections, and can be correctly received. Suppliers must deliver food when staff has enough time to do inspections. 45°F, air, 50°F, internal, 41°F. Live shellfish, oysters, mussels, clams, and scallops must be received at an air temp of ________ and an internal temp no greater than ____________. Cool the shellfish to ________ or lower in 4 hours. 1. Receiving and storage. 2. Processing. 3. Shipping. 4. Cleaning and sanitizing. 5. Personal hygiene. 6. Staff training. 7. Recall program. 8. HACCP program or other food safety system. Make sure the inspection report reviews the 8 following areas. Company standards for quality. In addition to the guidelines stated by ServSafe, you should always reject any items that does not meet your growers, shippers, packers, manufacturers, distributors, trucking fleet and warehouses, local markets. The operations chain can include what 6 components? Wrapping, covering. Safe food storage starts with ________ or ______ food. Store items in designated storage areas. Store items away from walls and at least 6 inches off the floor. Store single-use items, cups, gloves, in original packaging. To prevent cross-contamination, how should supplies be stored? Away from other food and equipment. Label food so handlers do not use the product. If food must be stored until it can be returned to the vendor, how should it be stored to avoid the risk of contamination? Based on the earliest use-by date of any food items involved. When combining food with different use-by dates in a dish, the discard date of the dish should be based on which use-by date. 1. Tell delivery person exactly what's wrong with rejected item. 2. Get a signed adjustment or credit slip before giving item back. 3. Log incident on the invoice or the receiving document. 3 steps to take when rejecting items. True. True or false? Empty food containers are never to be used to store chemicals, and food is never to be stored in empty chemical containers. The minimal internal cooking temp of each food. What is the top to bottom order for storage of raw meat, poultry, and fish based on? True. True or false? Most vendors will notify you of the recall. However, you should also monitor recall notifications made by the FDA and the USDA. Below ready-to-eat food. If frozen food is being thawed in coolers, where must it be stored? 24 hours, when the food needs to be sold, eaten, or thrown out. Ready-to-eat TCS food must be marked if held for longer than ______________________________________________________________________________________________________________________ The label must indicate 3 potential things: mold, abnormal color, moist food that should be dry, salami. Do not accept any food that shows signs of pests or pest damage. For questionable food appearances to look for: A. Ready-to-eat food, N/A. B. Seafood, 145F, C. Whole cuts of beef and pork, 145F, D. Ground meat and ground fish, 155F, E. Whole and ground poultry, 165F. Storage order from top to bottom with minimal internal cooking temperature. Inspected, meet all applicable local, state, and federal laws. An approved, reputable supplier meets what 2 requirements? Sell-by date. This tells the store how long to display the product for sale. 45F. Shell eggs must be received at a maximum air temperature of _______________________________________________________________________________________________________________________________________________135F. Hot TCS food must be received at a minimum temperature of ___________________________________________________________________________________________ You cannot make unsafe food safe. Purchasing food from ________________________________________ and following good receiving procedures will help to ensure the safety and quality of the food your operation uses. In what top to bottom order should raw meat, poultry, and seafood be stored in coolers? Seafood, whole cuts of beef and pork, ground meat and ground fish, whole and ground poultry. 1. Bloated. 2. Leaking. All food packages in a reduced oxygen environment, vacuum-packed meat, must be rejected if the packaging is ____________________________________________________________________________________________________________separately, if not able to separate, store ready-to-eat food above raw meat, poultry, and seafood to prevent juices dripping into ready-to-eat food. How should raw meat, poultry, seafood, and ready-to-eat food be stored? First in, first out, FIFO. Identify the method being used. 1. Identify the food item's use by or expiration date. 2. Store items with the earliest use by or expiration dates in front of items with later dates. 3. Once items are shelved, use those items stored in front first. 4. Throw out food that has passed its manufacturer's use by or expiration date. Good manufacturing practices, GMP, or good agricultural practices, GAP. The inspection report should be based upon one of 2 practices. Correct documents. Food items must be delivered with the ______________________________________________________________________________________________________________ For example, shellfish must be received with a shell stock identification tag. These tags indicate when and where the shellfish were harvested. They also ensure that the shellfish are from an approved source. 1. Packaging needs to keep out pathogens and chemicals. 2. Must not leak. As an exception, ground meat and ground fish can be stored above whole cuts of beef and pork. To do this, what two things need to happen? Indicates the item was wet at some point. Reject items with leaks, dampness, or water stains. What does this indicate? C. According to minimum internal cooking temperatures, with ready-to-eat foods on the top shelf and poultry on the bottom. Due to an operation's space limits, ready-to-eat and uncooked foods must be stored in the same cooler. How should foods be stored, in top to bottom order? A. According to the FIFO method, with oldest items on the top shelf and the newest items on the bottom. B. According to preparation dates, with the earliest dates on the top shelf and the latest dates on the bottom. C. According to minimum internal cooking temperatures, with ready-to-eat foods on the top shelf and poultry on the bottom. D. According to minimum acceptable storage temperatures, with foods that can tolerate the warmest temperature on the top shelf and foods needing the coldest temperature on the bottom. Open the package and insert the thermometer stem in the food. The sensing area must be fully immersed in the food. The stem or probe must not touch the package. When checking the temperature of other packaged food. 1. Identify the recalled food items by matching information from the recall notice to the item, manufacturer ID, time manufactured, items use by date. 2. Remove the item from inventory and place in a secure and appropriate location. Must be stored separately from food, utensils, equipment, linens, and single-use items. 3. Label items in a way that will prevent it from being placed in inventory, e.g. do not use, do not discard. 4. Refer to the vendor's notification or recall notice for what to do with the item. Throw it out or return it to the vendor. For guidelines to follow when notified of a recall. 1. Delivered in original packaging. 2. Manufacturer's label. 3. Package intact and clean. 4. Package should protect food and food contact surfaces from contamination. Identify the 4 things needed in order for both food items and non-food item packages need to be received. 45F, 41F. Shucked shellfish must be received at ______ or lower. Cool the shellfish to ______ or lower in 4 hours. Best by date. This is the date by which the product should be eaten for best flavor or quality. Insert the thermometer stem or probe between 2 packages. If package allow, fold it around the thermometer stem/probe. Be careful not to puncture the package. When checking temperatures of reduced oxygen packaging food, ROP, modified atmosphere packaging, MAP, vacuum packed, and sous vide food. True. True or false? Frozen food should be frozen solid when received. Tears, holes, or punctures, severe dents in the can seams, deep dents in taken body, missing labels, swollen or bulging ends, holes and visible signs of leaning, rust, broken cartons or seals, dirty or discolored packaging, appears to have been tampered with. Packages must be rejected if it has any of the 10 following things. Yes, X, cans with contaminated surfaces, but not the same for damaged cans. Yes or no? Occasionally, you may be able to recondition and use items that would have been rejected. Fish was correctly frozen before received. Keep documents for 90 days from sale of fish if farm raised. Must have documentation fish was raised to FDA standards. Keep documents for 90 days from sale of fish. Fish that will be eaten raw or partially cooked must also be received with the correct documentation. These documents must indicate 1. Illnesses have occurred when unlabeled chemicals were mistaken for food, e.g. flour, sugar, and baking soda. 2. Customers have suffered allergic reactions when food was unknowingly prepped with a food allergen that wasn't labeled. 2 reasons why labeling food is important. Yes, only if all the items have been commercially processed and packaged. Yes or no? Raw meat, poultry, and seafood can be stored with or above ready-to-eat food in a freezer. A. Cross-contamination. What is the problem with storing raw ground beef above raw ground pork? A. Cross-contamination. B. Poor personal hygiene. C. Time temperature abuse. D. Cross-contact with allergens. Yes. Yes or no? Items with signs of pests or pest damage must be rejected. Common name of the food, quantity of the food, grams, uses, 1 or 2. List of ingredients and sub-ingredients in descending order by weight. If contains more than 2 or more ingredients, list off artificial colors and flavors in food, chemical preservatives, name and place of business of the manufacturer, packer, source of each major food allergen contained in the food, not necessary if part of common name of the ingredient, not necessary for leftovers. Labeling food that is packaged on-site for retail sale. Food packaged in the operation that is being sold to customers for use at home must include the following information. 7. First in, first out. What does FIFO stand for? 45F, 41F. Milk must be received at ______ or lower. Cool the milk to ______ or lower in 4 hours. Label and date. Mark food correctly. Rotate food. Store at correct temperature. Store items in a way that prevents cross-contamination. Things to do in order to store food correctly. When and where the shellfish were harvested from an approved source. What does a shell stock tag indicate? 1. Maintain quality. 2. Limit growth of pathogens. 3. Earliest use by or expiration dates are used first. 3 reasons food must be rotated in storage. D. At least 6 inches. How many inches from the floor should food be stored? A. At least 1 inch. B. At least 2 inches. C. At least 4 inches. D. At least 6 inches. True. True or false? All items that have passed their use by or expiration date must be rejected. C. Time temperature abuse. What causes large ice crystals to form on frozen food and its packaging? A. Cross-contact. B. Cross-contamination. C. Time temperature abuse. D. Incorrect cleaning and sanitizing. Slimy, sticky, dry, soft flesh that leave an imprint when touched. Reject meat, fish, or poultry that has these 4 types of textures. 41F or lower. Cold TCS foods must be delivered at _____ unless otherwise specified. 7 days at 41F or lower. Ready-to-eat TCS food can be stored for how many days and at what temp? No. Yes or no? Can food that isn't correctly labeled and is missing a use-by date or expiration date from the manufacturer be accepted? True, reject. True or false? Reject frozen food if there is fluid or water stains in case bottoms or on packaging. Or, there are ice crystals or frozen liquids on the food of the packaging. B. Place the thermometer stem or probe between 2 packages of product. What is the best method for checking the temperature of vacuum-packed meat? A. Lay the thermometer stem or probe on the surface of the top package. B. Place the thermometer stem or probe between 2 packages of product. C. Open a package and insert the thermometer stem or probe into the product. D. Insert the thermometer stem or probe through the package into the product.